left behind. Tonight, we're coming to you live from the Kenya Medical Training College, and we're discussing prostate cancer. We say no man left behind because the levels of screening are low and there isn't as much awareness. So tonight, I'll have a panel of experts who will explain what it is, what the treatment options available are, and also let's discuss the non-invasive methods of screening for prostate cancer. It has proven one that has dissuaded men to get tested. Tonight, I'll have with me Dr. Primas Ochieng, and he is a clinical oncologist, University of Nairobi, and the Kenyatta National Hospital, which is just but a stone's throw away from where I stand now. We'll also have Phoebe Ongadi, who is the Executive Director of the Kenya Network of Cancer Organizations, and we'll be joined by Dr. David Kimani, who is a urologist, and he is a senior medical specialist in that area, Kenyatta National Hospital, and an honorary lecturer, Department of Surgery, University of Nairobi. We'll also be in the esteemed company of Joseph Otieno, Head of Benefits, Design and Actuarial Services, SHA, the Social Health Authority. So we are discussing prostate cancer in Kenya. But as is the custom, we first begin with the highlights. Rot universities. 18 public universities under EACC probe over misuse of billions of shillings.
This industry has got a lot of multiple taxes, which we are actually overburdened with these taxes.
Tax no more. Opposition dominates the first day of public hearing on new tax bills in Nairobi. Moi University crisis. No resumption of classes at Moi University as alumni call for ouster of Vice Chancellor. Nanny abuser arrested. Employer who allegedly tortured a house help, forcing her to jump from the 4th floor of a building in Kiambu, arrested. I'm joined tonight by our sign language interpreter, Yula Nzale. And we begin the bulletin with the rot in public universities, where the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has obtained a search warrant against former Vice-Chancellor of the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University, Professor Stephen Agong, as it intensifies investigations into the loss of 2.6 billion shillings. Professor Agong is among 5 other officials of the institution who are reported to have overseen irregularities in the procurement of major infrastructural projects in what the graft watchdog said is an emerging trend in public universities. As you'll hear now from Laura Otieno, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University is among 18 public universities under investigations for misuse of funds.
The burial of Mama Joyce Oginde, the mother to EACC chairperson Dr. David Oginde in Ugenya on Monday, was dotted with calls to uphold integrity as it emerged that a top institution in the county was involved in the loss of billions of taxpayers' money. The Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology had top officials fingered, including former Vice-Chancellor Professor Stephen Agong for flouting procurement laws, leading to the loss of a whopping 2.6 billion shillings. EACC obtaining a search warrant to houses owned by Professor Agong to obtain documents crucial to the investigations. Jaramogi University entering the list of 18 institutions of higher learning currently under the EACC radar.
Most of these problems are caused by serious leadership and governance problems involving collusion with the university officials, that is the former Vice-Chancellor, the former Deputy Vice-Chancellor, and the 4 other officials.
6 other officials of the university are also under investigations for allegedly receiving bribes to facilitate the graduation of more than 200 students who had not qualified on account of having missed supplementary examinations. The commission calling for concerted efforts among other institutions in order to weed out the rising cases of graft.
We want to challenge the Minister of Education also to strengthen frameworks for management of quality and standards in higher education, because the investigations that have been undertaken are indicating gaps. You cannot understand why such a thing would happen in a university that has a council and a vice chancellor.
How can this be changed? That is something that troubles us as an agency of government that has been tasked with the responsibility of fighting corruption and standing against evils.
Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University has, however, said that it has not received any letter from EACC detailing the particulars of the investigations and that it will issue a statement regarding the allegations in due course. Laura Otieno, Citizen TV.
Lecturers in public universities return to work on Monday, with their counterparts at the Moore University vowing to stay put until their demands are met, leaving the fate of thousands of learners in limbo. The prolonged standoff continues between Moore University management and workers who are demanding payment of salaries and other dues amounting to 8.6 billion shillings. In the meantime, the Moore University Alumni Association is demanding the dismissal of the institution's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Isaac Sang Kosgei. Safina Chingoma has more.
Despite the resumption of learning in public universities across the country following the calling off of the lecturer strike, classes in Moore University remain deserted, with lecturers vowing to sustain their industrial action until their grievances are fully addressed. A prolonged standoff continues between the university management and the workers who have been on strike over non-payment of their salaries and other dues amounting to 8.6 billion shillings. Solidarity forever. Speaking after meeting with Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Migos at the Ministry of Education in Nairobi, members of the Moore University Alumni Association demanded the immediate resignation of the institution's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Isaac Sanga Kosgei.
The problems might be deeper. What has he done about them? To improve, about the problem. And then also, you cannot keep telling us that a university has been humiliated in the manner that it has, and you're still staying put. In this country, where is the culture of resigning? Ukishindwa na vitu, you resign and you let someone else more competent than you to come and handle the situation.
They also demanded a forensic audit by the Auditor General, claiming that the university is sinking due to financial misappropriation.
Why should we throw taxpayers' money into a hole that we cannot get inside? That we want to get inside that hole and we are told no, they are gatekeepers to that hole. Then run the university using the village money. Don't run the university using national taxpayers' money.
According to the association, the crisis has been exacerbated by the politicization of the management of the university.
We have watched in the past people make very reckless remarks and they walked away with them just because they are politicians. We are saying no. We have students from South Africa in Moore University. We have students from all over the world in Moore University. We will not admit nationally and run the institution like it is a village university.
We will not sit and watch Moore University go down the drain. So drastic actions have to take place. We want to thank the Minister and the PAs for the steps they have taken. We have been assured that our students will be able to continue with their education.
The fate of learners at the institutions in the meantime remains in limbo.
This delay has caused us immense mental health pressure, has caused us to miss a lot of opportunities. Our demand is just one. We want to go back to class.
The university management had a crisis meeting with the lecturers to discuss how to unlock the deadlock that has paralyzed learning. Safin Aching Oma, Citizen TV.
The Ministry of Health has struck a deal with faith-based organizations run hospitals to embrace the new health insurance scheme after the government promised to settle all pending bills owed under the defunct NHIF. Health Cabinet Secretary Barasa Mlongo said the new Social Health Insurance Fund is inclusive and will transform the healthcare sector in the country. Stephen Leto has more.
Following months of objections to the ambitious Social Health Insurance Fund by the faith-based medical facilities and a section of private hospitals, the Ministry of Health has moved to quell the disquiet. The faith-based medical facilities and the Rural and Urban Private Hospitals Association of Kenya, RUFA, had rejected the new Social Health Authority contract, citing unresolved concerns over unpaid dues and unfair contractual terms.
If we can find a way to retire completely the debts that have been incurred under NHIF regime, so that we can begin the next regime on a new slate.
The previous concerns were that the government failed to address the payment of over 21 billion shillings owed to them by the now defunct National Health Insurance Fund, NHIF. In a meeting with the Ministry of Health, the service providers were assured of President William Ruto's commitment to settle the pending bills in full.
Ile gharama yote ya Taifa Care ya the last 1 month tunalipa wiki hii in full.
But we do have billions worth of claims under NHIF, and that is still the Kisungumukuti that is in all of our minds.
Elsewhere, Council of Governors Chair and Wajir Governor Ahmed Abdullahi lauded the efforts by the national government to make the new system a success. The COG boss, however, noted challenges in implementation of the new Social Health Insurance Fund.
Despite these bold steps, we're still faced with several transition challenges. One, the provider payment mechanism for PHC services is hazy, leading to increased out-of-pocket payments. Two, the proxy means testing used to determine the premiums for the informal sector has not lived up to expectation.
Health Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni told governors that the new healthcare program will enhance medical services in counties and called on the county bosses to work with the national government during the critical transition period.
With the 3 funds that are in there, we are going to cater for all levels of the facilities. The primary healthcare fund, which is going to take care of the primary level facilities, that is level 2 and level 3.
Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.
The Kenya Private Sector Alliance is calling for a deferment of some proposals contained in the Tax Amendments Bill of 2024 and business amendment laws, warning that implementation of some of the proposed deductions will have a devastating impact on both local and foreign investors. Meanwhile, experts under the Okwa Uchumi umbrella called for formulation of a national tax policy that will inform Treasury on the most effective tax proposals. Sethulale reports.
Submission.
KEPSA is opposed to the introduction of the new significant economic presence tax that will replace the digital service tax at an effective rate of 6%. While presenting its submission before the Departmental Committee on Finance that is conducting public participation on various tax proposals at the KICC, KEPSA called for the deferment of a section of other proposed deductions contained in the Tax Amendment Bill 2024 and Business Amendment Laws.
Our proposal is just to defer this implementation as before, we would like to see the regulations. This is not a simple tax.
While warning against imminent collapse of alcoholic and tobacco processing companies due to increased taxation, KEPSA also called for the removal of proposed taxation of the registered family trust as well as proposed levy on imported glass products.
We also need to look out for our, I wouldn't say the wealthy, but at least these are the people who are investing into the country. So how are we helping them cushion their estates as well?
While calling for the formulation of a national tax policy that will inform Treasury on the most elaborate and effective tax proposals to cushion Kenyans against overtaxation, Okwa Uchumi warned against the implementation of the proposed development levy for imports as it will increase inflation.
The challenge of the current administration is then to help Kenyans to answer the question, will these additional measures result in better outcomes for me?
The Association of Gaming Operators in Kenya rejecting the proposed increase in betting stakes and increase of excess duty from 12.5% to 15%.
This industry has got a lot of multiple taxes, which we are actually overburdened with these taxes.
The Association of Pension Trustees calling for a change in legislation that will prevent county governments from withdrawing funds from the exchequer until pensioners are paid their dues.
So the proposal is for gratuities and other payments from a registered pension fund, provident funds, public pension schemes, or NSSF to be considered to be treated as free from tax.
So how does the government make sure that these changes that affect the same people do not affect them either at the same time, or even the way it affects them, it is well coordinated or cushioned, so that we don't overburden Kenyans with so many changes, even when they are good.
With 124 entities scheduled to present their submission before the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning, main focus is on the manufacturing as well as income-generating sectors. Seth Olalia, Citizen TV at the KICC, Nairobi County.
As the world kicks off 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, lobby groups drawn from different sectors led the celebrations in different parts of the country, with calls for concerted efforts in ending gender violence in the country. The Kenya Women's Parliamentary Association wants the government to strengthen laws on gender-based violence and femicide in order to deter perpetrators. Interesting, given they are the legislators. Emily Chebet has more.
These celebrations come as the world approaches the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action in 2025. A visionary blueprint for achieving gender equality and women's and girls' rights. It is an opportunity to revitalize commitments, call for accountability and action from decision makers. The Kenyan Women Parliamentary Association leaders say some of the key focus areas are addressing digital abuse targeting women, female genital mutilation and femicide.
Kwa wale wanafanya hiki kitendo cha unyama, gava iweze kutusaidia waweze kupatikana juu 1 month ago deliverance hapo kwa Wangware pia tuliweza kupata msichana mmoja pia aliweza kuchinjwa na kutokea alikuwa anauza watermelon kwa Sol. Hatuwezi jua ilifika jinsi gani, naye tena akakidnapiwa akachinjwa akarudi kutupa hapo area.
Hata hapa kwa Wangware kuna wale nimeenda Mbagathi, ikabidi wakati naenda kuangalia msichana hakujua ameshatolewa organs. Wazazi wengi hawaangalii kwa ubavu kama huyu mtu alipasuliwa. Kumbe hapo ndiye alipasuliwa, waliondoa, wakashona.
Stakeholders are calling for more stringent measures in addressing the gender-based violence cases.
Survivors or most people in violence setup, they fear speaking out. They also fear that they do not have a well-known place to maybe seek refuge from. They also do not have mental health support. So if we have safe house that has all these things well equipped, and they also get legal support as well, so that would really help.
The issue of femicide should have a special unit within the existing institutional structures, be it at the DCI, be it in the investigative agencies, because of the nature, especially when it's amongst the young people.
In Kisii County, lobby and civil society groups jammed major roads chanting anti-femicide songs in an effort to sensitize the public on ways to reduce cases of gender-based violence.
Katika hii siku ya 16 kuhamasisha watu kwa jinsia na ukatili pia ya kimaumbile, tupate kwamba walemavu wengi katika hii eneo wamedhalilishwa kwa sababu wazazi wengi hawana ile uhamasisho ya kwamba watu walemavu pia ni viumbe kama wengine. Wengine wanaficha watoto walemavu kwa nyumba.
Women experience physical violence more than men, and women between 45 to 49 years of age experience the most physical violence. Married women or in a relationship experience the highest rate of physical violence compared to men.
Emily Chebet, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Lavender Akinyi Ogilo, the employer implicated in the attempted murder of Shani Melza Atieno, who fell from the 4th floor of posh apartments in Kiambu, has been arrested. This as detectives intensified investigations into the circumstances surrounding the incident. And as Ode Francis reports, the survivor, Shani Melza, is still at the Kenyatta Referral Hospital, where she is undergoing specialized care.
It is a case that has left many in shock after Anani Shani Melza Atieno allegedly jumped from a posh apartment in Kiambu after alleged beating and torture by the employer. The suspect, Lavender Akinyi Ogilo, has been arrested and is being questioned to establish the circumstances that would have led to the fall. At Kenyatta National Hospital, the victim continues to receive treatment.
At the time she reported to us, she appeared psychologically traumatized. For the lower limbs, she had multiple lacerations, including tendons that were cut and open wounds. For the spine, we already have preliminary investigations that have been done, including the CT scan, which showed some level of injury.
Doctors say Shani may require specialized treatment.
Saying we need to do the MRIs to just know how further the injury extends to and whether it actually requires that we do further surgery.
Some of the evidence collected by the investigators includes a knife and a cooking stick allegedly used to assault the victim and CCTV footage.
She also sustained maxillofacial injuries, and this is part of what it entails. The mandible was involved, such that there was a fracture in the mandible, including the teeth. She lost some of her teeth because of the impact.
In her statement, the suspect claims that they had engaged in a domestic dispute before the nanny jumped from the building. As Shani continues to receive medication at Kenyatta National Hospital, detectives will be waiting for samples taken to the government chemistry for DNA sampling. Ode Francis, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Businessman Elias Njeru, the main suspect in the attempted murder of Florence Wanjiku, who had been on the run, turned himself in and surrendered to police. The suspect was later arraigned and charged with the attempted murder after he pleaded not guilty. Marianne Nyambura has the details.
Monday afternoon, Elias Njeru was presented before Molo Law Court Principal Magistrate Daisy Mose, hours after he surrendered to police who are investigating an attempted murder case involving his estranged wife, Florence Wanjiku, who he allegedly stabbed 18 times on Thursday in Olive Inn, Kiamunyi. Njeru pleaded not guilty to the charge, despite attempts by the prosecution to have the suspect detained. Molo magistrate granted him bail.
No reason has been given by the prosecution to compel this court to deny the accused person bail or bond. There is no reason that has been given, and so I will grant the bail, a reasonable cash bail of 500,000 with a surety of a similar amount and cash bail of 200,000.
Magistrate Mose, however, issued a restraining order barring the suspect Elias Njeru from approaching Florence Wanjiku, who is still recuperating at Optimum Hospital in Nakuru.
The accused person is instructed not to interfere with the investigations that are still ongoing, and he should not go anywhere near the complainant or the victim of this case. Those are my orders.
The case will be mentioned on 9th December 2024 for further direction. Marianne Nyambura, Citizen TV.
November is often known as Movember because it is a month when we raise awareness on men's health issues. And tonight, we leave no man behind. We discuss issues prostate cancer, and I'll be joined by 4 experts on the subject, beginning with Dr. Prima Socheng, who is a clinical oncologist, University of Nairobi and the Kenyatta National Hospital. Well, I'll also have on my panel here at the Kenya Medical Training College, Phoebe Ongadi. She is the Executive Director, the Kenya Network of Cancer Organizations. We'll also be joined by Dr. David Kimani, who is a Senior Medical Specialist Urologist, and he is based at the Kenyatta National Hospital and is an Honorary Lecturer, Department of Surgery, University of Nairobi. And we'll also have joining us Joseph Otieno, Head of Benefits Design and Actual Services, SHA. So see you on the other side of this break. Kenya and Mayotte are strengthening economic ties following the signing of a new memorandum of understanding. The opportunity is being spearheaded by the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Investment, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Blue Economy, and paves the way for increased trade, investment and regional cooperation. Raf Wangutusi reports.
The partnership between Kenya and Mayotte follows 10 months of intense negotiations. The memorandum signing, which included key leaders from both countries, highlights areas of collaboration in agriculture, innovation and trade, which leverage Kenya's strategic positioning through the Indian Ocean and Mayotte's growing potential as an export market.
The opportunities that we are talking about is approximately 1 billion euros. That's approximately 140 billion Kenya shillings in terms of what Mayotte imports per year. And looking at that, the fast moving consumer goods is approximately 80% of that. If we are able to utilize this opportunity between Mayotte and Kenya, and we know Mayotte is a neighbor to Kenya, it is interconnected by a 4 weekly flight by Kenya Airways, and by ship it can take between 1 to 2 days by ship. So this presents a big opportunity for diversifying and even increasing our Kenya's exports.
Mayotte can also offer a market for Kenya in the blue economy space.
Now that we're looking into enhancing our production, our food production, obviously when we have surplus, we will need to look for market, and therefore the closest amongst the closest destination that we're looking at, Mayotte is one of them. And also the partnership in blue economy. You realize that this is an area that has enormous potential, and I think it's untapped.
To cement the diplomatic ties, Kenya will host the Africa-France Summit in 2026.
To be able to cement this partnership, a year away from now, Kenya will be hosting the French Africa Summit. The first time a non-French speaking country will be hosting the French Africa Summit.
The signing of this MOU between Kenya and Mayotte is aimed at increasing trade and access to European markets, leveraging Kenya's surplus food production and Mayotte's access to European funding opportunities to enhance growth between both countries and enhance regional integration. Raf Wangutusi, Citizen TV.
The Commission for Science, Technology and Innovation, NACOSTI, the University of Nairobi and the United States International University Africa, USIU, have today signed a memorandum of understanding with Factor Y, a global leader in business, scaling and innovation commercialization. The collaboration emphasizes the importance of aligning academic excellence with industry and government to accelerate the translation of research output into key growth sectors.
And then, Frank, I need your help here. One of these.
In the MOU signed, students with solution-oriented innovations could earn as much as 12.8 million shillings upon the validation and acceptance of their ideas. Factor-wise Head of Strategy Stefan Kali noted that the model offers a disruptive solution to different challenges, which through the transfer of intellectual property to a special purpose vehicle SPV, the company will provide global investors access with robust IP protection.
We're obviously trying our best and to be already at an early stage, very specific in the scoring process, so we're not creating false hopes. But then what we accept, and in addition to the 25% exit, what we mentioned, if we accept it, but the market demand could not be confirmed, the innovator gets $100,000. We believe that an exit will be around the lower end of 4 million. But again, the market will decide what it is. We're obviously aiming at higher exits.
And the fact that, we are constantly looking for solutions as far as greater levels of productivity, innovation and efficiency in all sectors. So whether it's the health sector or the manufacturing sector, with almost 1 billion people, local solutions have to be provided.
The ideas presented will be taken through 3 key pillars to assess technological viability, the market and marketing strategies, and time to market, with innovators set to receive support to scale and commercialize solutions that address pressing societal challenges.
We continue to see great creativity from our students. So this is an opportunity to now turn the shelf things that we've had into something. And for a student to try and gauge themselves, these are the parameters that get my product to the market. I think it's helping also improve our own creativity, but also see it not just as creativity, but also as an income when commercialized. I think it's a wonderful opportunity.
Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Google's products and services contributed an estimated $900 million to Kenya's economy in 2023. This is according to a new report unveiled by Google in partnership with the Ministry of ICT. The findings, published in the Digital Opportunity of Kenya report, highlight the transformative role of digital technology in bolstering productivity, fostering innovation, and creating opportunities across various sectors. Jasmine Wamboi has more.
The Digital Opportunity in Kenya report has brought to the fore how Google's tools ranging from search and workspace to YouTube and ads have empowered businesses, non-profits and creators to thrive in Kenya's fast-growing digital economy. Knowledge workers saved 5.5 million hours using Google tools, translating into $98 million in productivity gains, while 300,000 young people gained critical digital skills through Google's platforms.
But our commitment to Kenya's digital transformation goes beyond infrastructure, devices, skills, innovative technologies. It also involves fostering a supportive policy environment that allows the digital economy to thrive.
The findings position Kenya as a digital leader in Africa with potential for future growth. The report projects that artificial intelligence alone could add $2.4 billion to Kenya's economy by 2030. This will be pegged on an increased focus on AI adoption, STEM education, and digital infrastructure. The report comes 2 years after Google's $1 billion pledge to accelerate Africa's digital economy. Jasmine Wamboi, Citizen TV.
Kenya's electric mobility is projected to grow by 5% by 2030 as part of the country's plan to move away from fossil fuels in a bid to combat climate change. To actualize this, Buso is one of the local ventures supplying electric vehicles to the multi-billion matatu industry. And as Edward Chwe reports, Buso is now locally assembling the EVs with the aim of supplying at least 1,000 electric buses by mid-2025.
Buses in, others leaving. This yard here in Buruburu is a charging station for electric buses operating within Nairobi County. Buso, the supplier of these electric buses, has set up chargers here.
This is our first outdoor charging stations. So we have several of these. We have indoor charging stations. We have outdoor charging stations. Then we have what we call partner sites.
Founded in 2020, Buso aimed to transform the matatu industry in Kenya by supplying electric vehicles to replace the fuel-powered vehicles, even as Kenya looks forward to grow its e-mobility by 5% by 2030.
There are a few barriers to entry when you're trying to introduce electric buses in any market. Number one is the high upfront cost. And number two is lack of infrastructure, charging infrastructure for the buses. Number three is technical support, the after-sales service, after-sales support for electric buses, because it's a new technology, especially in Africa. So as Buso, we are able to solve all these three problems.
Buso started off by importing the electric buses, but the startup is now assembling its vehicles locally at its assembly line at the Kenya vehicle manufacturers.
Why we do local assembly is because we want to have that solution to be available as much as possible. We're looking to do for at least 30% of all inputs that go into a bus are locally available.
Recently, Buso received major funding from the US. What does that mean for the company, and how has that affected your operations?
So when you look at a startup just like Buso, the proving profitability in the business is important. So on our path to profitability, the business needed to raise money to be able to help do a lot of local assembly. In 2024, we're looking to have deployed 50 buses on the road. So next year, we look to deploy another 200 buses on the road. And by 2026, our vision is to have 1,000 buses on the road. Trying to be able to improve our solutions at scale, we needed to raise money. And this is what we were able to raise, $42 million, a mix of equity and debt.
So far, Buso has supplied 28 electric buses to matatu circles operating within Nairobi and its environs. Sam says demand is growing.
We have only done 10% of the circles, but we have a queue of 500 customers who have reserved buses with deposits and commitment that are waiting to be delivered buses in the next coming years. So demand is okay. Most circles are on board with us. They have showed interest. They have reserved buses.
With the charging infrastructure now strategically built on different routes within Nairobi and its environs, Buso looks to go big in the e-mobility sector in Kenya, and the startup is already settled in Rwanda as it scales operations in the East African region.
When you plug them from 0 to 100, maximum 4 hours, the bus is full. And with a charge of 100%, one of our buses called the E9 is able to give you a range of up to 300 kilometers.
Edward Chaya, Made in Kenya, Citizen TV.
Sports, CS Kipchumba Murkomen unveils Gender Protection Committee to help curb gender-based violence among athletes.
The Gender Protection Advisor in Sports, Honorable Kipchumba of the National Olympic Committee.
A major boost following the appointment and unveiling of a Gender Protection and Implementation Committee. The committee, which Sports Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen unveiled today, will comprise of an advisory board chaired by the Cabinet Secretary for Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, and will be deputized by the Principal Secretary, State Department for Sports. Among the deliverables for the committee is the full implementation of the 2022 report on gender welfare and equity in sports and the review and development of policies to curb gender-based violence in sports.
Of sports persons interviewed admitted to having been subjected to sexual abuse more than 10 times.
Of tokenism that was being done to women, whereby you find in some federations the position that was given for gender protection was more or less reporting to a member of the committee. So you find that if that member was found culpable, he would, of course, hash the whole thing in the board.
The Kenya Rugby Union has received a massive boost after signing a 2-year partnership deal with Safaricom through its global brand M-Pesa. Through the partnership, KRU will receive 90 million shillings that will go towards the Rugby Sevens teams, Shujaa and the Kenya Lionesses, as they gear up for the HSBC World Rugby Series and the HSBC Challenger Series, respectively. The deal also entails financial management programs for the teams, which will also benefit the players.
Really excited to be here today to give back. This is a great team. Our journey started not just today with the sponsorship. We sponsored the team, Team Kenya, during the Olympics earlier on this year. And it was really nice to spend some time with the ladies that evening and even in Paris. So really for us, it's just to make sure that our grassroots sports are really taken care of.
Goal is to be in the top 8. Of course, we're ambitious. The better we do, but we don't want to be in the relegation battle. This support will help us achieve that because it goes into the players' salaries. Then we have the other sponsors' money that also goes into that, and supporting in terms of all the support structures.
Kenya's sole representative in the upcoming Road to Basketball Africa League Elite 16 Championship, Nairobi City Thunder, have been pooled in Group A ahead of the upcoming championship that is set to be held in Nairobi. The Kenya champions will battle it out with MBB from South Africa, Creole Star of Cape Verde, and Bravehearts of Malawi. Group B consists of City Oilers from Uganda, Urunani of Burundi, Matero Magic, and Fox Basketball from Zambia and South Sudan, respectively. The round-robin tournament will be staged from November the 28th to December the 3rd at the Kasarani Indo Arena and the Nyayo National Stadium Gymnasium. It was all jubilation as two brothers completed a fantastic race to finish first and third in the 5th edition of the 50-kilometer ultra marathon that was staged on Saturday at the Mara North Conservancy. And it started in 2020. The ultra marathon is a single-day foot race through the Conservancy of the Northern Masai Mara ecosystem. James Opondo Japicha has the details.
3, 2, 1, go!
Jackson Olonana Kiswa was the winner of the ultra marathon race that was hosted at the Mara North Conservancy. Olonana, who participated in this year's Nairobi City Marathon, broke the 50 kilometers course record, finishing first in 3 hours, 10 minutes and 2 seconds, while defending champions Julius Kumunga Mwangi finished second, 16 minutes behind the winner, with Ronnie Kiswa, who is the brother to Olonana, completing the podium.
Mbio ya leo ilikuwa mzuri, but kuna challenge mingi kupitia mambo ya matope. Naona tulianguka huko juu ya matope mingi, lakini tunafurahia, tunashukuru Mungu kwa yote.
Mara Elephant Project team finished first in the Rangers category and third overall, crossing the line in 3 hours, 30 minutes and 24 seconds, with IMAC team from Narok finishing first in 3 hours, 7 minutes and 18 seconds. Mara Elephant Project ladies finished first in the ladies category.
Kutunza wanyama pori ni kusuri kwetu kwa sababu lete watalii, na watalii wao ndio wanapanga hii kitu, wanahosti marathon yenye tuko nayo. Hiyo ndio faida ya wanyama pori kwetu.
Ni rahisi ukiwa lady, lakini tunajaribu kwa sababu huwa watu wamechukulia kama ni male dominated area, lakini tunajaribu. Sisi sasa tunasema what a man can do, how man can do better. We are doing the best, and sasa sisi tunaona hakuna kitu yenye mwanamume anafanya ambaye atufanye.
This year's edition attracted more than 300 participants with the main purpose of raising funds in support of wildlife conservation in the Mara ecosystem, as well as supporting communities that call this place home.
It's actually to raise funds for some of the critical initiatives in the Mara that is actually go directly to the conservation and improving the livelihood of the people in the Mara. So the event is actually to raise funds to support some organizations like the Mara Elephant Project, the African Mission Service, and the conservancies in the Mara.
Since its inception, the marathon has raised over $20,000 US. James Opondo for Citizen Sports.
It's all systems go ahead of the 14th edition of the East African Community Interparliamentary Games set to take place in Mombasa from December the 6th to the 18th. Speaking when he joined the Bunge sports team today, Sports Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen promised to complete the refurbishment of the facilities that will be used to stage the event in good time to ensure its success. The highly anticipated event will bring together over 1,500 legislators and parliamentary staff from across the region, fostering cohesion and unity among EAC member states.
Who elected me as their chairman asked me to convey to all of you that while it is very good to win trophies in such games, the underpinning and underlying theme is friendship and integration.
I urge the Bunge Sports Club to go all out in delivering a world-class event. This will further bolster Kenya's reputation as a premier destination for major sports events.
We take a break on Monday Report. But has promised to come back with that conversation on prostate cancer. Monday Report comes to you live from the Kenya Medical Training College. And we'll be looking at certain issues such as why isn't it detected earlier? It is the most common cancer affecting Kenyan men. And there's some apprehension where testing is concerned. Why is that? What advancements have been made on the other side of this break?